So
I think that really, I think that really connects to a lot of the things, and I'm really interested in this other Gong quote, but I think that
yeah,
connects to what we were just talking about. That early stage awareness content being so critical in establishing value. They frequently, I know I've taken this and run with it with a lot of content that I've created, where you have to have a goal for each page. Is the goal delivering value? Is it illustrating or exhibiting knowledge? Is it describing your proposed process for them educating themselves or going down the journey? Or is it to certify trust or to establish trust? And I think that I
right.
love that Gong quote where it says the earlier that brand is positioned, the earlier that trust gets established. And I think that's such an influential thing in storytelling components. And I know we're going to get into some storytelling theory in a minute, but I love this
Really,
example.
really quick, I just want to say that this is so easy for the C-suite to dismiss.
Yeah,
Yeah, yes,
exactly.
I can see we need to focus on sales. I've heard
Mhm.
somewhere, I think one of the C-suite from HubSpot told me directly that most companies spend about 8 times more on sales than in marketing. And I do think if they allocate a little bit more towards the marketing part, it would actually help speed up the sales cycle, which we've actually done. We've rebranded a very big company, like a $72 million startup funded C-series startup
Mhm.
where they were struggling. And what was happening is that I came into that session with my team and I asked one pointed question on purpose with everybody in the room. I said, please bring sales in. And marketing was like, I guess we don't need them here. I said, please bring them. And they brought them. And I asked them one question in front of everybody on purpose. I said, how, because we're talking about a C pass. It's a communication platform as a service. One of the competitors was like Twilio, right? So they're pretty big and they were
Yeah.
they had amazing clients. And so the point is I asked the salesperson, how many of your customers understand what you guys do? And I was expecting to say 50, 30, 20. He said 1%. And so what that means is marketing wasn't doing anything for them. And sales was getting these ice cold calls and had to explain everything in a phone call or web call, whatever it was. Right? And that's a huge problem. And so their sales
Yeah.
cycle was like over a year long. And it was so obvious
Right.
to us, like you have no story and you're talking about your product like it's like a practical thing, and no one knows what it is except you guys internally. That's like a sin, right? So you see your brand experience, and these are terms. I always like to define this because people see these terms and they get them all mixed up and they think they're the same thing or they don't know how they work. So I want to break this down. I'm going to go backwards. Okay, I'm going to user interface. That is and this can be online or offline. Let's start with offline just to be really clear. Offline user interface. Costco puts the really discounted roasted chicken all the way back at the end of the store on purpose to force you to walk all the way to the store, get it, and then walk all the way back through. And suddenly you have a shopping cart of $300 of items that you don't really need, but you bought them, right? And that is all by design, right? That chicken is a lost leader. They don't make money off that, but they make money knowing that a certain percentage of people are going to walk out with more than just the chicken. And they're counting on that. Online user interface is the website. It's the mobile app. It's the experience. Like I'm checking out. Did it get stuck? Did it take forever? Did it take the coupon code? Did it reset? Did it lose my order? Whatever. That's user. Now we're blending into user experience. Am I getting frustrated by this experience? Or in the case of Costco, like it's delightful, right? You go back, you get the chicken, they give you free food, little samples, and that's user experience. Like you're enjoying the experience and it relaxes you, puts you in a mood of I'm getting hungry. I should shop for some. I should get a couple things for food. You start to break down a little bit. That's all by design. That doesn't just happen by mistake. You have to plan those things out. So the next one is customer experience, and this also can fall into employee culture as well, which is how is your whole experience? Like when the dress came that you ordered, did it fit you or not? Did they give you the wrong size? Was it a beautiful opening box or was it all crumpled and the dress is wrinkled? And so all those things together is the brand experience. A year later, when you think about that brand and that experience, was it a pleasant one? Was it a terrible one? Would you ever do business with them again? Or are they beloved? You just, wow, I love everything they do, the way they almost read your mind. They know exactly what you want to see or hear. And that's really important. And so these are the kind of factors that we're thinking about, but a lot of people will start here. They'll think of branding as logos, colors, and all that. And really that's the cherry on top. As far as I'm concerned, it's a little different than that. It should be deeper than that. We're really talking about what the brand foundation, you might not, this is like the strategy work. This is the intake work that's done with the client. what's their purpose, their beliefs, their style, what do they want to look and feel like? And then that turns into the visuals, words, and actions that we want to build on a very simple scale. Now, on a more complex scale, like this is how we would look at it internally. Like we're looking at the strategy, right? This is the brand experience flow design, and that entails customer experience. That also leads into information architecture. We really don't know what to build until we understand these things first. Who are we speaking about? And then at the back here, you'll see visual identity. Like we're starting to create, here's the look, here's the feel of the brand. And again, that's that cherry on top. And that's important. Again, if you have an amazing car that looks like crap, no one's going to buy it. And if you have a beautiful, well-designed car that is not even that great under the hood, like chances are that car's going to get more purchases than the ugly design one, right? It's just the way it is. And so before you move into development and production, before you get into the actual creation of these things, we have to map all this out and understand what we're trying to build. What is that experience? Like I mentioned Costco, like what's the app experience? Like, how do you want people to feel? I got into crypto. I'm not a big crypto guy at all, but I was just playing with a little bit of money. Everything had dropped and I was like, let's see what happened. But I was on the Robinhood app and the app is so gamified. It's so slick. It's so smooth. And it's funny to see that. And then I'm working currently with a kind of a bank right now, and their apps are not cool at all. They almost look a little bit antiquated, and they think that they're at cutting edge, but they're not. Like Robinhood is really where it's at. Like the millennials are having fun. You use the app, and I can see how it gets you to spend money without even thinking, which is probably what they want. Like that's all part of the strategy. That's all part of this design flow that we're talking.
So can you get into kind of, I'm leading the witness here. A lot of people struggle with the early funnel in content. How do you think about, I sometimes reference that as initial phase or act one, like what needs to be covered there? What are the things you need to have an effective act one?
Okay, so we're talking about a PR activation. I'm just going to read this. This is the big four. American Express launches latest direct mail campaign to cardholders. Brand reminds consumers of purchase benefits by shopping with its merchant partners. If you look at this, you can see that's really brand centric and not customer centric. So let me show you the customer centric version. This is the after. American Express creates Small Business Saturday. Brand champions local merchants who consumers overlook when shopping at big box stores on Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So now we have a story. Now we have David and Goliath, big versus small, right? We're rooting for these guys. We actually want to help them now because we want to help small businesses. The people that are going to care about this are going to really feel that. Where if you look back at this one again, the original one, you don't see any of that there. It's not, they're talking, they haven't solved the problem. The real problem is trying to get to that point where people can take action and make this very actionable. So this is the befores where people will typically do a press release and it'll start there and end there, and that's it. And we can't even get to this level at Noble unless you let us do our work. A lot of times, we have a PR campaign and how about we need to do some brand strategy? Oh, no brand strategy. Let's just jump into PR. And they don't understand that they're throwing away the most important part is that this is what you're paying for. And it looks like nothing. It's just two sentences. Like, I paid how much for that? And then they see the sales come in, they go, oh, I see. But they don't always see that, especially smaller brands can't always see that. So
you're illustrating it, and I know we're going to wrap it in 1 minute, but that's a great example of highlighting things that would bring people into various stages of the funnel. That the value you're bringing isn't just about the fact that there is a 2% discount if you unit their merchant, right?
Temporary. This will last forever. These kind of stories, and they're powerful and they're emotional. People will get emotional behind these stories. And that's
gotta have it.
Before we do a campaign idea, we really are trying to understand what our clients' business problems are. And then we want to position them, and then we launch the campaign. And we want to also deal with commerce barriers, like through sales objections and brand loyalty they have to do. And then the last thing is tactics. So we're not going to come and say, yeah, we do SEO and we can help you, or we make videos. Like we do all those things, but they're meaningless unless we wrap that in a story. So we're always trying to help our clients understand, like, we need some storytelling and strategy involved before we turn tactics on. It's too easy to turn the tactics. We really need to have something behind it. And for us, we have something called the data matrix, which kind of breaks down these 12 elements, like the market situation, trend analysis, your consumer personas, and also like the decision journey. What does each touch point have to do to get them to go to the next step? And of course, you want to design for the worst case scenario, not the best. Some people come to your website and buy in 2 seconds. Great. That's 1% of the people out there. You need to design for the toughest customer so that they all have a chance to really go through what you're about and really absorb what you're about. And that's all going to be done through story, because without that, it's going to get boring really quick.